Finance Committee, and we will start hearing from the Police Department first. We're ready whenever you are.
Good afternoon. As you all can see, I'm getting a little adjusted over here. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm going to take a stab at the budget for the Jackson Police Department. I have met with the staff and they have given me the tools that I need to hopefully make this presentation this afternoon. So if you'll allow me to get started, I will start first with our personnel service. $30,876,452. Supplies and materials, $2,216,227. Other services and charges, $2,032,265. Capital outlay, $1,345,415. Grants and contributions, $1,310,066. Debt services, $25,858, for a total general fund of $37,806,283. As it relates to vehicles for the Jackson Police Department, the total allocation for 2024 to 2025 for 15 patrol vehicles upfitted was a total of $736,028. Proposed for 2025-2026 vehicle allocation for approximately 8 vehicles upfitted, $437,820 for vehicles. And as you can see, there is a decrease in the amount of monies afforded for vehicles and less vehicles afforded for the previous budget year also. That's it, right? Okay. And for the proposed changes for the upcoming fiscal year, training program optimization, technology utilization, targeted community outreach, summary and recommendations, personnel development, technology upgrades, community programs, and fiscal responsibility. In its conclusion, commitment to the community, the budget reflects an unwavering commitment to serving the community with a clear focus on efficiency, transparency, and integrity in every action that we take, and strategic resource allocation. Allocation of resources assures that the police department fulfills its mission with excellence, accountability, and impact. Thank you for your continued support of the Jackson Police Department.
Thank you. We're going to open with questions, and we're going to start with Ms. Brown.
Thank you. With this, 18 patrol cars for the 437, is that gonna cover just 8 cars?
From my knowledge, yes, that is for the purchase of 8 vehicles outfitted with stripes and emergency equipment. And as you know, 8 vehicles don't get you a
No.
long way
Nowhere.
with a department that size.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions? Okay, Mr. Hartley?
Yes, good to have you sitting in that seat, Chief,
Thank you.
Sheriff, Chief. And maybe someone else from your staff can help you with this, but the COPS grants itself, COP, COPS grant, can we, do we have anyone that can speak to that?
Vincent Grizel, Assistant Chief, Jackson Police Department Admin and Support. On the COPS grant, we did get awarded for the COPS grant, but we have to maximize our 275 before we eligible to move forward with the COPS grant.
So, I'm trying to understand this, so we're qualified for it, but we
Yes.
have to come up with matching funds?
Yes, because our budget is 275,
Mhm.
and once we complete that 275, then we can move forward for the additional. That's what the grant supports.
Do you know how much we're going to be putting?
The last one we applied was 5 officers.
Okay. And while you're up there, you may be, you can answer another question. How are we doing on our license plate readers?
Everything is well. Chief Watt's team, the intelligence team, has actually been monitoring those carjackings
Okay.
and stolen cars.
So we're, budget-wise, we're good?
Yes, we good.
Okay. And I think my last question is vehicles. Are any of these vehicles going directly to the precincts?
Correct.
All of them are going to the precinct
Every
level?
last one of them, sir.
That is good. These vehicles are run ragged, and I've seen some of them. I know we were working them around the shift, around the clock,
Yes.
and so I think they're really neat to have those.
Now, I did meet with Chief Sheriff Jones about our solution to the vehicle issues. And Fidelis and I have been working on it about 6 years now, trying to move forward with the enterprise program. But I'll let the sheriff elaborate on those, what we talked about.
Yes, as it relates to vehicles, we did discuss this program with a lease purchase through enterprise, which would be a little bit more fiscal responsible, and also to be able to get more bang for the buck, I guess I would be able to say, because you're actually able to get more vehicles with less money overall for this particular program. And we'll just say, for instance, you heard me talk about approximately 8 vehicles in the amount of $437,820. For 587, approximately 587,000, you can get 42 vehicles on this lease purchase agreement. You can get 100 vehicles for approximately $1.5 million. You can get 84 vehicles for approximately $1.2 million for this program. But this money, from my understanding, would have to be budgeted every year for these vehicles. And once the vehicles, from my understanding, you are able to trade the vehicles in, and you're able to replace your older and worn vehicles for newer vehicles also. So this is a very good program, and I think that there are some possible funding opportunities to support this program also. It's my understanding that there are some old guns that may be in the supply at the Jackson Police Department, and there's a program where those guns can be sold to an authorized dealer, and some of those monies will be or can be afforded back to this particular program, also, as well as some of the sales from the auction with the vehicles at the impound lot. also. But this is a very good program.
Very good. Thank you. Madam Chair, if you don't mind, I'll come back later with a couple more questions. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Grizel, Mr. Grizel.
Chief, or anybody that can answer, where in this budget did you all plug in some money for more cameras and more license plate readers? Because I think we've been trying over the past few years to make sure that the budget has more than enough to try to get about 25 cameras every year.
It's my understanding it's not included in this particular budget.
I'm just letting you know I'm gonna make that amendment, so try to find it. Okay? What overtime, is overtime in this budget anywhere?
Yes, overtime is included in personnel service.
How much is, from overtime is included in this budget?
800. Roughly $800,000, yes.
800,000. How much did we make in overtime this year?
1.2 million. Approximately 1.2 million, from my understanding, yes.
All right, thank you. Animal control. Last year, we budgeted about $468,000 for animal control outsourcing. I see here it's about, what, 195? Am I reading this right? What is the plan to cover animal control? And this ain't just on you, Chief.
No, I understand.
Okay.
So would that be, that's in personnel service, right?
400.
It's my understanding it's still the same number from the previous year. So are you speaking of an increase for it?
Well, we budgeted 468, and nothing was done with that, and so I see here it's just 195. And so I'm just putting you on notice, I'm gonna make that amendment to go back to that 468 and let something be done with that, because we get a lot of complaints about animal control. And also, it is my understanding, y'all not asking for no pay raises.
No, sir.
I just want that on the record, all right? Thank you.
Mr. Foote, 3 questions.
Three questions. Okay, I actually got more than three questions. So I'll try to-
Questions, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. I appreciate that. Yeah, one of the things, it seems like it's going to be really easy to get an MOU between the JPD and the Sheriff's Office now. So, but my further question,
Why do you think that, Mr.
follow-up
Foote?
question is, what about an MOU with Capitol Police? Where do we stand on that?
I'm not exactly sure on the status of MOU with Capitol Police at this time.
Okay. I think that would be a really good thing. I think it'd be well received by the general public. I also had a question about animal control, but I'll go on to this is a question of what serves the city of Jackson best. Right now, code enforcement is in the planning department. And I wonder if it might be better, they might be more effective if they were in the police department rather than the planning department. And I was curious what JPD might have to say about it, if they've got an opinion one way or the other.
Assistant Chief Vincent Grizel. Years ago, Councilman, they were under the police
I
department.
know.
And administrations back, they wanted to see how they was going to be more operable on their own. And we get hit with that a lot, that question, why they're not under the police department.
So do you all have an opinion? I guess, they need to be where they can be the most effective. And so it's a discussion we need to have within the council, but I just want to know if y'all had any input for us. And would you have any problem if we decided that we think it'll be more effective if it's under JPD?
We have a lot of input,
Okay.
but I do want to let the Mayor Horn administration have more of the input on how that looks like and
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just
what
hold
area
on.
we go in.
Okay.
Yeah, I am familiar with them being under the police department from some years ago when initially I was there. And I think they were assigned to the support division of the police department. But of course, I think that conversation would have to be, there are a lot of logistics that would have to be ironed out before we are able to assume that responsibility.
Okay. All right. So thank you. I'm curious where we stand as far as how many current sworn officers there are in JPD, and whether that's your satisfied level or what your goal is for the next year, or to get to if it's higher than the current number of sworn officers.
Well, right now, we've been working on the goal for 275.
Okay?
And we have two, I talked to Chief Sheriff this morning, that he's going to sway in two additional, one from Georgia and another for another agency, laterals, experienced officers next week. So he's going to do that on the 5th. So right now, we're at 127 civilians, and we're at 258
Yeah.
with the two recruits.
So
We have
it'll
two recruits on
It'll be
standby.
258.
258.
When your goal would be 275?
275, yes.
275.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Mr. Parker?
Thank you so much. Do you prefer Chief Sheriff or Sheriff Chief?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. My first question is, this PowerPoint slide seems to indicate a total general fund of 37 million, but the two books that we've received here seem to indicate a total of 38 million. And so I was wondering which one of these, which budget should we be looking at?
I'm not sure this is what I was given.
Fidelis Malembecker, interim CFO. So there's going to be a slight difference from the numbers you're looking at. That does include, they do have other funds they manage, which is Fund 2 and Fund 3, right? So that book actually includes all of them.
Great, thank you so much. Another question I had, I see we have 1.3 million in grants and contributions, allocates money to external organizations, community programs, or other governmental entities through grants, aid, or partnership contributions. That's just something I'm not familiar with. What grant, so JPD issues grants to others. I'm just curious about what that grant program is.
Yes, Vincent Grizel, Assistant Chief. So we have several grants. One of the major grants is COPS grant that we talked about, and then we have another grant called the JAG grant.
But
Sometimes,
COPS grant is money in.
right,
correct?
but you have the JAG, like 19, 20, that we do share with.
Right. It's my understanding that 1.2 million of that outgoes to Henley Young Youth Detention Center.
Got it, okay, that makes sense.
All right.
And then, vehicles, first, so if I heard you answer, I believe it was Mr. Hartley's question earlier, that leasing could potentially get a lot more bang for our buck. I mean, I think you mentioned 100 vehicles.
Yes.
What model does the sheriff's, what office does Hines County use? Do you all purchase, do you lease, and how do these prices compare to the prices you're paying in that
Yes.
capacity?
So no, we don't. In short answer, we don't have a lease agreement with the county. Matter of fact, to keep from going too far into detail, we purchase vehicles through other funds.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
Madam
Hart.
Chair,
Mr. Stevenson, go ahead.
Peter Terrison, interim CAO. On page 72 of the big budget book, there is a proposed amount for total animal control budgeted at $358,879. I know Mr. Grizel and Mr. Foote had both asked about that, so I wanted to point out that specific number.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Sheriff Chief, Chief Sheriff. And so one of my questions was about the personnel, and we got that established because I know that was a priority. We need more boots on the ground. And when you say upfitted on the side, you're talking with all the amenities for the patrol cars, radios?
Yes, radios, sirens, other technology, the striping, cages, and everything is included in that.
Okay, my other question is, probably to the chief here, you mentioned we have 127 civilian slots. How are we doing on force? raises and stuff for them. Is that any
We
consideration
actually,
now?
I'm sorry, sir. Vincent Grizel, Assistant Chief, we actually in discussion with that, previous with Chief Wade. So I guess we're going to sit down with Chief Sheriff here and kind of go over where we are.
Yeah, I know that, I think last season, we were trying to get a lot of funding into the direct police, but the civilians that serve and have important positions as well. And so if you would, whenever you guys make a decision, and we may be back with doing deliberations, let us know how that's going.
Yes.
Sounds good.
That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Foote? Well, Mr. Brazil.
Oh, I was just going to follow up on the animal control again. I know that my understanding is the animal control shelter that was out by Hawkins Field has been closed for like 4 years. Is that right? Is that true?
To the public, yes, but not to the employees, no. When we have those vicious dog bites,
Uh-huh.
Mississippi Animal Rescue League is not going to take them right then. We have to have somewhere to house those dogs where we pick them up, right, for temporarily, until we can communicate that with Maul to bring them over. We just don't have the luxury, just say, here you go. So we have 81 cages that was repaired, but they're on a temporarily for them to go out, get the dog, like they have one at 4:30 in the morning, transfer that dog temporarily and house there, because we do have people leave animals outside the place. They drop them off. So we do have somebody kind of mitigate that, and we do have receipts where we have transferred that over to Maul.
So, would it be okay if I came out and visited the animal shelter? Would y'all be okay with
Yes, I mean,
that? Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Mr. Parkinson?
Thank you. Mr. Foote and Mr. Hartley were talking about the personnel goals, and I understand the goal is to have a certain number of officers. Does the budget reflect reaching that goal?
Yes, the budget is for 275.
Perfect. Mr. Grizel had also asked about cameras, and in addition to the license plate readers and the other cameras that the office would own and maintain and have around the city, my understanding is the real-time command center will allow people to report their Ring doorbell cameras to
Yes, yes.
to there. And I believe in the Midtown neighborhood, they did some fundraising and actually bought a whole bunch of the neighbors, a Ring doorbell that could be reported to the real-time command center. And I'm wondering if it might be appropriate, in addition to the cameras that we had, but some kind of program where we would potentially offset the cost for citizens, and the department might issue Ring doorbell cameras that can feed into the real-time command center.
I'm not familiar with that, but I will say it could possibly be open for some type of discussion. There may be some grants that may be available for a program of that magnitude, but that's something that can be explored, yes.
Thank you very much.
Can I follow up?
Last question, yes.
On the camera system, you mentioned Midtown. Also, Jackson State University, Country Park, others have included the cameras. Is that now being tied into the command center?
No, it's not. So the way that it works is, there are some copyrights in fragment dealing with the software of the companies. But what they can do is share the IP address of the video. It's going to have to come from the actual owner.
Okay.
So they'll download it and enter that into the real-time command center portal. So when they come in, it alert them that this video has been sent, and then we share it with the major investigation units.
And
That's how it's been coming in.
Can you provide instructions?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. At this time, we'll have the fire department.
Well, the public is really upset about this. They are really upset. Yeah.
We're ready. Thank you. Go ahead.
Chief Thomas Jackson Fire Department presenting our budget for this year. The department's current budget level is,
Excuse me, can you speak up just a little?
yes, sir. The department's current budget level is $25,935,321, which is 93% of our personal services and 7% of our operational needs. On the salary line, we have $13,467,593. Overtime is $1 million. Building maintenance, $73,238. Uniforms, $60,000. Motor vehicle repairs, $250,000. For our personnel in the fire administration, we have 15 personnel. Emergency Services Division, 234. Training, we have 7. Office of the Fire Marshal, 8. Fire Safety Education, 5. Arson and Internal Affairs, 4. And we have 5 employees at the fire garage. The department operates 21 fire stations, 12 engines, 6 ladder trucks, 5 rescue units, and 1 mini pumper. And we cover approximately 111.72 square miles. Our call stats for the year since October 1st, 2024, we've had 11,316 incident calls. Smoke scares, 501. Structure fires, 292. Vehicle fires, 151. And medical calls, 3,100. The budget we presented before the council today will suffice the needs that we need for this coming fiscal year. Any questions?
Before we start, can we get a copy of the information you just read with the statistics on it so we can have that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Thank you very much. Mr. Hartley is first.
Madam Chair, I have no questions.
Brazil? Mr. Foote?
Thank you, Madam President. You mentioned early on, but I couldn't find it in my budget book here, the line item for maintenance of facilities. I'm trying to, you know what page that's on?
It's going to be page 6.
Page 6.
Yes, sir.
So, let's see, electric, water, blah, 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 machine.
It's 64, 61.
Fire stations and buildings, so that the 645,000, is that the line that for maintenance and repairs?
No, sir. It's going to be 64, 61, and it's $73,238.
Okay, buildings up there.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. So my question is 73,000 enough to take care of 21 fire stations?
It's enough to start the process. We're looking for other funding, federal funding, to assist with that. And the mayor and administration are working hard to make sure we secure funding to make sure that we're able to rehab our stations, but we understand it's a long process.
Yeah, if you divide 73 by 21, you only end up with, $3,000 or $4,000. And that's not near enough money. We need to allocate a whole lot more money to the maintaining 21 different fire stations that firemen live in and have showers and plumbing and air conditioning and everything else, all the other things the people normally expect out of their residents. And you can't take care of 21 buildings with only a budget of $73,000. That needs to be adjusted. And I would recommend to my fellow council members that we come up with money somewhere to probably triple or quadruple or quintuple that amount of money. That's not enough money to take care of the buildings. That's why we've got a lot of fire stations are compromised, and it undermines quality of life for the firemen and their morale. And I think it's something that we need to make a high priority in the fire budget. Thank you. Yes, sir.
We'll let Mr. Mellenbecker address that.
Yeah, so Councilman Foot, what the mayor does intend on doing, actually, he's trying to make a commitment to make repairs to all the fire stations and put together a plan, both short and long-term plan. As you may have heard, there has been an amendment to modernization tax, how you can use those funds. They have now included facilities, right? And so the mayor does intend on setting aside some funding to go towards the facilities.
But I think that's good. That's good news. But I think it needs to be reflected in our budget too. I don't think we can just say, well, we'll cover that with something else. That's not fair to the fire department.
So,
And for us, the council needs to make a commitment to this in addition to the mayor's effort.
correct. So it is in the budget. The fact that it's coming from modernization, that's where it's going to be budgeted. Not directly under fire department, but within modernization. Similar to what happened when the council made a commitment to set aside funding for each ward, right? It was within that fund, and then you set up accounts within modernization so it can be tracked, because we have to report that to the state, right? And in fact, our allocation is dependent on how we expend those funds, and so we have to track it within that particular fund. So it's going to be in the budget. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mellenbach. The one other thing I would just mention in passing, and I talked to the chief and his team a week or so ago about this, is I would really encourage the fire department to, where possible, to develop some public-private partnerships that, with whether it's schools, hospitals, you name it, businesses, that, improves the relationship between the fire department, get to know some of the local people, develop better relationships with the local citizens. We have the good fortune of having a public-private partnership. I think it's with Station 17. Is it Station 17 and the Jackson Academy's student body that they've done some work over there and got to know some of the firemen. I think it's good for both the citizens and the fire department itself. So I would encourage y'all to see that as part of a solution too, for better relationships with the community, and y'all can be great role models for the kids, for high schools, middle schools across the city. You'd be really, I think it'd be a shot in the arm for them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foote. Those were two good ideas, and we all support improving the facilities for the fire department. Mr. Parkinson?
Just a quick question. I see line item for motor vehicle repairs. There's no need for any new fire engines or any new vehicles at the fire department. Is that correct? Or am I incorrect?
There's a need, but we have, let me see what page that is. 5. Page 2. Yes, sir, there's a need for funding for the fire trucks, but, and to buy new apparatuses, but currently, right now, the ones that we have are maintained and are sufficing for the duties that we need them to serve at this point in time. But again, the mayor's administration is working hard to, in the future, find funding to attack these issues, but right now, we're maintaining.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Brown? Okay, Mr. Hartley?
Yes, Chief. I'm seeing here on medical response, you have 3,100.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how that breaks down? What are the typical response we have to? And then, on a separate question, how much is it costing us to respond? Okay, and perhaps that's something we can work together with finance with. But I'm curious. What is it taking? How many personnel, equipment, time, overtime, whatever? What does it take us to respond to to some of these, especially as medical, that's concerning.
Yeah, well, the medical calls respond to anything from a cardiac arrest to a simple medical procedure, but it's costing us a lot. We have a very high drug pandemic, especially in the South Jackson area, and that is where the bulk of our calls come from. But the units who respond, the personnel who respond are currently within our budget, so it's not really taking us too much over because we expect that to come with the terrain that we're in. So we're managing the best that we can to make sure that the citizens of Jackson are taken care of. However, if you want a more broken down, detailed view of that, I'll get with Dr. Mellon back and give that to you.
And I would appreciate that. When you typically respond to a medical, are you taking a full contingent, or it's a specialized team, or?
Right. It's usually, the medical calls come in through AMR, and then they let us know what type of call it is, and we usually respond one unit, with the exception of the bariatric patients. Sometimes we send 2 units because of the nature of the call.
And a unit
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
comprised of what?
A unit comprised of 2, if you're talking about the main pump, it's 2 personnel, but if you're talking about an engine or a rescue, it's a minimum of 3 personnel on each piece of equipment. So once they get there, if their findings, they need something more personnel, they ask more people to respond. But most of the time, 1 unit is enough.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Hartley, do you have any more questions? Or Ms.
Just, I'm assuming he's going to bring back some more information later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for the job you did.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll have Public Works.
Public Works. Mr. Caldwell. Mr. Caldwell, we're ready.
Good afternoon, Public Works. We're ready for you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Introduce yourself.
I am James Caldwell, Acting Deputy Director of Public Works.
Benita Wells, Deputy Director of Public Works. Yes, sir.
And Peter Tawerson, interim CAO, and apparently by that title, I also get blessed with being interim Public Works Director. All the things you get to inherit. If you look in the summary that's there, the department is asking for a flat budget of $16,557,043. Mr. Caldwell and I have spent some time going back and forth. In Public Works, we clearly need much more than $16 million to maintain the infrastructure of the city of Jackson. Let me make that clear. But Mr. Caldwell and I have determined that the department itself is not very efficiently organized. And so before we come seeking more money, what we seek is to put these numbers in place and then allow us during this upcoming fiscal year to better consolidate our resources. Part of that you'll hear, and you've heard me reference before, is likely pulling Parks and Rec, grass cutting, and other types of crews and putting them back in Public Works so we can have full crews working in multiple areas, properly scheduled, rotating their work. The other numbers maintain the priorities that this council set last year. This council gave some one-time money for raises last year, as I understand it, for some Public Works employees, and challenged the administration to make sure the raises could be continued forward. Ms. Wells, through her diligent effort, has made sure that the raises that were awarded last year by the City Council as a one-time are in fact maintained in this current budget. Secondly, at my request, I asked Ms. Wells to look at our custodian pay. We have custodians who are making $11 and $12 an hour. Last year, care and maintenance workers got a raise to $14, but the custodians were left behind. I've got a little bit of heartburn over that. In fact, I got a lot of heartburn over that. And I'll be candid, I got a lot of heartburn working for anybody who works for this city and makes less than $35,000 or $40,000 a year. $11 and $12 are unacceptable. At my request, Ms. Wells rolled up her sleeves and included in our custodial services would be getting every custodian to a minimum of $12.46. That is not $14 where care and maintenance was, but having met with a number of the custodians, they are understanding that we necessarily can't do that in 1 year, but if we would show some good faith, they would certainly be pleased. So those are probably the biggest things that we have emphasized, and then again, ask for your patience, because we will likely move some of this money around during the budget year as we figure out to have more boots on the ground and efficiently have the services of the cities conducted. We'll answer any questions. Whichever one of us can best answer, will answer. Thank you.
Okay. We'll start with Mr. Gazelle.
The amount for paved streets, is this also including the use tax that we get, the modernization tax that we get? It's not. So this is just basic, because, I mean, 1.5 million, we know you can't really do anything with that. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm trying to get used to this format. I guess some broader questions that are not necessarily on this net is how many actual people do we have in Public Works now? How many slots do we have in Public Works for people? I've been concerned about the department being hollowed out over the past several years. We went through the Jackson Waters thing where both water and sewer was taken away from Public Works. We seemed to have lost much of our middle-level management, the engineers. So we became less responsive because of that. We lost the Public Works Director. We couldn't keep that slot filled. So I feel really, really concerned about the Public Works Department as it currently is, and I don't know what the numbers are as far as personnel we've got versus how many people we should have.
I can answer that.
Okay.
Total authorized in Public Works is 177. Of those, 174 are filled. Mr. Foote, I share your concerns. This department used to have close to 500 employees at one time. I think when Mr. Hartley worked in the department, I think we were around 490 or somewhere. So you are correct that it has been hollowed out, as you use that term. We need more employees, but we're not there yet. Let us move employees internally and make sure we are maximizing everybody we have on staff before we ask for additional employees. I do think as we look forward beyond this budget year, we're going to have to add additional boots on the ground. Part of how we need to do that, quite frankly, though, is Jackson Water needs to pay for its own employees. We're picking up a fair amount of cost to subsidize the administration of Jackson Water. The same Jackson Water who, depending on which day, may or may not be cooperating with the greater good of the city in the most efficient manner. And so we'd like to see, and we'd like to challenge Judge Wingate to see if we could get out of the business of having to subsidize Jackson Water employees. I've got some questions as to how legally we got there. That was before Mr. Martin's time, so they're not questions to him, but questions because we're paying PERS on Jackson Water employees. We're paying significant salaries towards individuals who simply are not working for the city of Jackson every day. If we could recapture some of that money, I think it would allow us to begin adding slots to the public works staff. I also want to say we've had a discussion about custodial services. Part of getting that pay up, quite frankly, we need to ask whether we need to have custodial services emptying every trash can in the city every day. I don't generate a trash can's worth of garbage. I see a custodian every day. I know he or she is working, and I like talking to them. That's how I know they're paying their issues. But we could perhaps be staffing some of what we do better as well. I don't know that we need to continue to have 19 custodians. Perhaps we need a dozen who are better paid, and then if we have some savings, roll that over into infrastructure positions.
A follow-up question would be, I know when we went through this period where we didn't have a public works director, and then we had an interim, and then Mr. Lee left for another job, and there was a point where the mayor, a year ago, the mayor brought in Mr. Ahmad Al-Turk, who was an engineer with I think Wagner Engineering, and I was led to believe that was going to be, he was going to be the substitute for the public works director. But when I contacted him about specific issues with sinkholes and other things in Jackson, in Ward 1, he told me that wasn't his scope of duty. And it was, I think that's one of the worst contracts the city has right now. It's way overpriced. We're paying way too much money, and there's a back-end deal that wasn't explained to us in the front end that makes it even more expensive. And I would encourage the administration to let that contract die when it runs out in a month or two.
Thank you, Mr. Foote. We appreciate you.
Let me add this, though. That contract died at the end of July.
Did it? Okay.
And what we have proposed in this budget is $531,360 specifically for in-house engineering. In other words, we intend to go hire a couple of engineers in-house.
Good.
I'm doing my best to substitute for Mr. Ahmad Al-Turk as LPA signatory. In the meantime, I've been attending the meetings, but we did allow that contract to expire, and we're proposing to repurpose the money that was spent on that contract to bring people on full-time in the city as engineers.
I'm glad to hear that. That's, I think, a much better solution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Parkinson.
Thank you. First, this is completely, entirely separate than the 1% sales commission. Is that correct? So nothing in here. Okay, thank you. I know there's been a lot of talk about, does Public Works do absolutely everything? Do we contract everything out? Do we have some kind of hybrid model? Right now, do we have the ability, like, do we have a truck and some asphalt and a crew who can drive around and fill potholes, or are we contracting out all of our pothole work?
James Caldwell, Public Works. We actually do have crews out filling potholes every day. It's just such a widespread area that they are fighting. It's not a big crew, but they are working every day. So.
Sure, great. And I see vehicle maintenance. What's been told to me, and I'm wondering if you could tell me if this is accurate or not, is that there is some lot somewhere that in theory, if one of our city vehicles breaks down, it goes there to get repaired. But in actuality, I've heard it described as a vehicle graveyard that is just tons and tons. I mean, and the picture I have in my mind is like mountain, like just cars stacked on top of each other of just vehicles that are never going to get repaired, clogging everything up. Is there any accuracy to that? And if so, what's the solution?
Well, there's definitely accuracy. I don't know it's quite as you described, but the city has a dead vehicle lot, for lack of a better term. We also have a city garage. Our city garage is where we really need to focus. That garage falls under Public Works, and we need to better manage that garage. Too many vehicles are going to the city garage, sitting for an extended period of time, not being repaired, or the garage is making a decision on what it will or won't repair. And there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to what we're doing. We have some employees who are driving around, like custodial folks, in 15-year-old vehicles without air conditioning. That's not acceptable. And then we got other vehicles which are pretty new, which seem to have an easier life. Mr. Caldwell and I have talked about that. We intend to, you've heard the mayor speak of, we need to deadline all possible equipment and auction it, do that in conjunction with the state. Our suggestion would be that the proceeds from that be put back in new public works vehicles. Separately, we need to make sure that our garage runs in a much better fashion. We seem like we really don't have a lot of accountability there, and we're prepared to tackle that going forward as well.
Thank you. May I ask another question?
That was 3, right?
I'm not sure,
Well,
honestly.
we'll come back to you. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Brown?
Okay, thank you for all you do. How many people works in the bridges and drainage?
There are 34 budgeted positions, 5 vacancies.
My second question, do you all have a separate list other than a 1% sale tax that, for the payments of the streets?
Strictly talking about resurfacing. Primarily 1%, majority of the resurfacing projects are under there.
Okay, and my last question, city garage fall over under the Public Works, right?
Yes,
Have we took a look at those contracts, like that works on the cars and stuff like that?
We're in the process of reviewing that now. Mr. Caldwell has informed me that he allowed one contract that fell under him to expire. I was in agreement with that. We're going to look at all of those. The city garage, as I said, is not efficient. The dead vehicle lot is one thing. The garage is separate. We can obviously auction vehicles, raise a little bit of money. We've got to have a garage that is responsive to police, fire, and public works. These vehicles have to be repaired in a timely fashion. And in my short time back here, I've heard too many stories about vehicles that go there. If they don't die, like Councilman Parkinson said, they're in an extended coma.
Because you know the garage is a mess.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hartley?
Yes, Mr. Caldwell, I have several questions. First of all, on the potholes, along the pothole lines, is there any consideration, I guess you or Mr. Tavers can answer this, for a second crew to be out there with the potholes? I mean, duplication of equipment. I've seen some of your equipment and the personnel, that one group that's going out there, they are not equipped properly. And I think that we can do a lot more improvement there if we had the necessary personnel and equipment. So my question is there any consideration?
Well, there is consideration. What we want to do is start in-house first and make changes. Everything in Page Streets is running, but it could probably run more efficiently. With that being said, I think there are maybe 2 vacancies, 15 employees total there. We will probably start out just trying to make sure everyone's, scheduled properly and make sure all the equipment is actually running properly also. So we'll start there.
Okay, I've seen some of your equipment out on the street.
Right.
Look like it could use
Refresher.
an upgrade. But a second crew, I would really be supportive of that. The other thing is, just briefly, the synopsis of what we learned for as our equipment need and going to the streets. You did the pilot project out in Washington Addition. We found some gaps there and some better ways to clean up all the streets. What are we looking at, and is it reflected in this budget?
The needs for, that would be the blight program? Or-
Well, just general city
equipment.
maintenance.
Yes. As far as that equipment, no, sir, that's not reflected in this budget.
Okay, and could you come up with some figures for me? So if we have to make an amendment the last day, we'll do that.
Do that.
Thank you. Mr. Brazil?
I'm going to give Mr. Parkinson my last 2 questions.
Oh, wait, we're coming back this way.
He can still have my
Mr.
other 2
Foote.
questions.
Yeah, but we don't do that. Mr. Foote, go ahead.
You got my
Okay.
other 2 questions.
Let's got down here, parking meters, $12,276. We went through this deal with, new parking meter program. Man, we got more complaints than we got anything else with people, trying to make it work. But we're supposed to generate revenues to us, not be an expense. I was curious where all that stands, and maybe we need to have, the best thing might be to have somebody come in and brief the council at a work session or something on how the parking meter thing is currently functioning, and what the satisfaction level with the citizens is.
Benita Wells, Deputy Director. There are funds under that parking meter. It's strictly for pension. Parking meters used to be housed under Public Works. That was moved, when we moved all of the parking meters to this new system, it was moved under, is that planning? It's under planning now.
Also, parking's under planning, this 12,000, that's.
It's just pensions that needs to be moved. We moved all the other salaries. There's only 1 employee. So that just needs to be moved to Infrastructure Management Admin Division, the 12,000 for the employee.
Okay. Then down here in solid waste, cemeteries, $166,940. Now, last year we ended up outsourcing a bunch of the grass cutting, which I think is the primary expense of cemeteries. I guess this may be a question for Mr. Davison. Are y'all going to try to do that internal grass cutting instead of the outsourcing like we did last year?
Yes, we would like to bring most of this grass cutting internally. The contracts have not proven to be as effective as we thought. We're having to go back behind the contractors, asking them to recut and do other things. So one of the things you'll hear, and this will probably be in no later than the end of the first quarter, is we want to get park maintenance out of parks and create what would be a public property division within Public Works. From there, I think we'll end up, Mr. Hartley, with your second pothole crew, because I think we'll figure out who's better skilled at cutting grass, who's better skilled at paving, and who's better skilled at filling potholes, and who might be better skilled at trimming limbs or other things. But get all these people in a new division that is public property. It's kind of embarrassing to look down here and see solid waste and then see cemeteries. Are you saying that
I agree.
my loved ones are solid waste at this point? I don't think cemeteries or right-of-ways belong under solid waste, quite frankly. I think all this is public property, and we ought to figure out how to maintain public property. If we can assemble the employees in the right place, put them in the right groups with the right crew leaders, which I believe with Mr. Caldwell's input, we absolutely can do. Because I can't say enough about Mr. Caldwell. Councilwoman Clay, when you called me about flooding, that's who I called. and he is absolutely responsive. He also has a good pulse on his people, and Councilman Parkinson, he definitely understands scheduling of people. So we want to bring all of that in-house and do it more efficiently. Thank you.
Good. One final question here on the care and maintenance line. It's got $2,445,000. What exactly is covered in care and maintenance? It's also got custodial services of $983, but what all is care and maintenance? Is that of our equipment or what?
I'm going to let Ms. Wells or Mr. Caldwell answer that. I asked them the same question, and it concerned me that we were spending $3.4 million on care and maintenance and only $5.9 million on infrastructure management. Those numbers, to me, seem to be too high on care and maintenance, especially for the condition of our buildings and the quality of service we get, and too low on infrastructure management. But I'll defer further to specifics to them.
If you look on the handout on page 11, I tried to give you a detailing of the expenditures for each division, as well as the vacancies in the positions that are budgeted there. For care maintenance, majority of it is salaries. I do agree with you, when we look around the city and we look at the state of our buildings, our properties, they do need to be kept up better, maintained better. So there'll be something that we'll be working with Mr. Tayson and part of the internal restructuring. We also have, under care maintenance, performance contracts with Siemens. This is, the contract's about 10 to 15 years old. I wasn't here at the time, so it is a quarterly payment that we make, so that's majority of that. Outside of that, they kind of respond when you need them. You know, we have an overflowing toilet that's overflowing. But I think we need to focus more on being proactive and not reactive to issues that happen into city property. I think that will make the citizens feel better. We will look better, we will feel better, and hopefully we will perform better.
Let me add in, we have too much middle management. When you look at care and maintenance, there is an individual who supervises care and maintenance, and then there are 3 individuals who assist him. And so we're kind of out of whack when it comes to, Councilman Stokes would call us top-heavy. I would say we're middle fat is what it is. Individuals who are not actually pushing a broom or mowing grass, but aren't at a high enough level where they're making decisions and understand budgets, but are paid as if they're somewhere in the middle there. And one thing we'll look at is how do we better get folks who are actually out here doing something that you can see the results of.
So does this consider, I mean, is this maintenance for all of the facilities that Jackson has for across the Parks and Rec and everything else, or is it just the stuff that Public Works uses? I mean, is this all the buildings that the city owns?
Yes, sir.
Is that right? I'm not sure if that's the right, to put that in Public Works, I'm not sure if that's the right department to be in charge of all the facilities, you know, that we own across the city. I mean, anyway, that's just my opinion off the top of my head.
Thank you very much, and Mr. Teveson said he was looking at organization, so he'll be coming
agree.
back on that. Mr. Parkinson?
Thank you. I remember when we were proposing purchasing a street sweeper, there was a question, how many street sweepers do we have? And someone said, we have 2, and someone said, no, we don't have any, and someone said, I think we have 1, and there was confusion over how many. I mean, that's a $750,000 piece of equipment, and we weren't sure how many we actually had. Do we have an inventory? I mean, I understand the garage and the graveyard and all that stuff, but do we have an understanding of here's how many vehicles we have, here's how many of each type of equipment that we have?
Yes. So we currently have 2 street sweepers. They are not working. They need to be repaired. We have 1 in order, so there's going to be 1 commercial grade coming in soon. The plan is to get all 3 of them working. We do have a vehicle inventory list, so we do know what we kind of have on our fleet. So.
Thank you. My understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is a ton of this work, from grass cutting to pothole repairs, is really concentrated between March and October. So you have a huge demand during those months. And then you can't really, my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, you can't really fill potholes in January. You can't, there's really no grass to be cut during those times. Is there a seasonal nature to this work? And if so, what is the best way to utilize employees who are full-time employees year-round?
Actually, on potholes, you can fill them in January. That comes down to whether the temperature is below 40 degrees or not. And in our climate, there are enough days, even in winter, that we can still fill potholes. Potholes should be a 12-month endeavor in the city of Jackson. Grass cutting, on the other hand, would be much more seasonal, Councilman Parkinson. And as I spoke to yesterday, when we were talking about, for example, trees in public parks, what Mr. Caldwell and I have discussed is that if you're in the grass cutting business that's seasonal, then we're going to find you other work for your other months. Those other months you should be out there pulling down the trees at the parks or working on the cross drains or other things, cleanup, just simple cleanup, getting leftover leaves out of sewer drains, storms, water drains.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant. There's enough work to do.
Yes.
Something that I often hear is that there is a tension between filling a bunch of potholes but doing it not in a super great job and just kind of going quick with it and getting a lot done, but, or you hear people talk about doing it the right way and making sure that those are long-lasting. Is that a false dichotomy, or is there really an inherent tension between the quantity and the quality that we can do? And if so, does the department take either side, do we take an approach to that?
We try to teach our guys the right way of doing things. Now, sometimes you would get into a situation where they may fill a pothole, but the actual ground itself may have caused for a patch to be put there, such as State Street and, I want to say that's South Street down there. We did patches in that area down there instead of doing potholes. So it all depends on what they actually have. They may have filled the pothole temporarily, so no one will get any more claims or having any vehicle damage. So there's kind of a means to why, but ultimately, we have to use the correct measures, so we're.
And it costs more to fill it the right way, or is it just a matter of talent?
Well, if you don't fill it the right way the first time, it's gonna cost more in the end. So you keep going back and redoing it. So it's not that, it's just may just be, it will cost more if we don't fill it at all. And the way risk management goes, if I hit it first, I may not get paid for it, but if someone else hits it, then there's a check coming. So we put something in the hole, make sure it's safe, we come back to it, but don't forget about the scheduling for it. So, but the correct way is always the best way to do it. Clean it out, tack it, fill it in, roll it, make sure it's compressed good.
The last thing I'll say, I really appreciate the approach that both of you are taking in terms of let's make sure that we're coming up with a long-term solution and not continuing to punt this down the road. 90% of the calls that I get are about public works. And so I really, really appreciate, let's make sure that we get it right. At the same time, this is not going to be new to y'all, and I'm sure we're all in agreement. We can't wait too long to come up with a perfect solution, because this is an urgent thing that we all get. 90% of the calls we get are about public works and some hole somewhere and some drain and some tree and some this and the grass and all that stuff. So I appreciate y'all taking the time to get it right, and I'm excited to see a new vision, 2.0.
Thank you. Ms. Brown? Mr. Hartley, this is our last round. Go ahead. 3.
Okay, first of all, I echo sentiments of my colleague here. We can't wait. A lot of our streets can't wait. South Jackson can't wait. West Jackson can't wait. Ward 3 can't wait. A lot of folks, we can't wait. So I would love to, I want to sit down, have a meeting as head of the Public Works Committee for the council, set a meeting with you two before I put in motions to, regarding equipment needs. Because, you know, you'll come up with your plan, but bottom line, we don't have the equipment to make things work right now. The second thing is stormwater inlets, stormwater. What's our success rate on cleaning those things out? I mean, I haven't seen anyone around my neighborhood in years opening up a stormwater inlet and cleaning it out. So what are we doing there? Do we need more equipment, money, or just what do we need? And if you like to delay this discussion until we can sit down, the CEO and infrastructure or Public Works, we can do that.
So The guys are out cleaning storm drains. They do pop manholes. I was with a crew not too long ago. They do have a hand crew, and they go out and they try to get the material, whatever it is, leaves, debris out. They do. The jet trucks are probably the biggest issue. We have a lot of downtime with those. So we need to get our jet trucks back running properly running, proper training. Yes, we're working on that now. So we have at least 3 jet trucks running at all time. They can get in there and get under the street and blow everything out. And it'll make you, so I don't have to come back as often.
Okay, and I'll ask you offline about your schedule, when you can come over to parts of West Jackson.
Okay.
I've seen it, but please, Mr. Tableson, if you don't mind, let's set up that meeting as soon as possible so we can make these amendments to the budget.
We will, and need to say this on jet trucks. The city has purchased 6. 2 of them are working. We are diligent working to get a third one of the 6 working. Several, probably 2 or 3 of them are going to have to be deadlined. We're looking at trying to at least get 3 working, 4 if possible. If not, we'll come back with a deadline recommendation. The cleaning of the leaves, I really think goes back to one of the reasons we want to move the Parks and Rec grass cutting personnel to Public Works. I really don't know what Parks and Rec grass cutting personnel do in the non-grass cutting season, but they should be cleaning out the leaves from the stormwater drains so our intersections are not filled. So we're very much cognizant of that, and we're cognizant that we need to move quickly so the public sees some results, that we're better managing the resources we have.
Thank you, sir. I look
Thank
forward
you.
to that meeting.
Okay, Mr. Foote.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm looking on page 3 here, fiscal year 2026 highlights. Okay. Training and certification, that's fine. Decrease reliance on outside vendors, I think that's good. Strategic capital improvement plan, who is in charge of that? If there is somebody that's responsible for creating the strategic capital improvement plan, that's one question. And it says reduce time of addressing infrastructure issues. Reduce time of addressing. I think what they mean is reduce, or make it quicker in addressing infrastructure issues. Okay. Next one, strategic infrastructure improvement plan. I guess that's part of the strategic capital improvement, okay. Revenue generation, only thing I can think of is parking meters. I don't know. Citywide auction, I think that's a great idea. The, one thing I would really be helpful me, I mean, I can reach out to Mr. Caldwell, and he's been very responsive, but he can't do it all by himself. He can't do this whole thing by himself and really, resolve all the issues we're facing. So I'd like to see an organization chart and how it's, this chart on the next page, I think it is, or the previous page, where there was a chart in here somewhere where it showed all the different things that Public Works do, and it was a big circle. I don't think that's going to be an operational success if it's just a big circle with the Public Works director in charge. Need to have, who answers to who, so we can have accountability up and down the chain of command. And so I look forward to the other names of the people that are going to work for Mr. Caldwell while he's the interim Public Works director. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you, and we're happy to see the department back. Our next group is going to be water and sewer rate.
Where is that thing? Here it is right here, this plan right there. That's not. What's that? Is that right? Okay. I mean, they really did in the previous administration. Made y'all's job infinitely more difficult by hauling house.
Your water and sewer rate,
It's not easy.
so they've already done it. Thank you. We appreciate you. Well, thank you very much. So that concludes our day. Well, we need to ask Ms. Jordan. Ms. Jordan? Do we really have water and sewer rate, or was it Public Works? That was inclusive?
So usually they have one, I mean, one is.
I thank you very much.